Last year I posted a video about GrapheneOS, which was a video I started in 2022. Of the almost 47,000 views that video got, less than 1% of them were subscribed, and technically less than 0.5% of them disliked the video, while another 1% liked the video. This time, I listened to the feedback. I have a current Pro model, the Pixel 9 Pro XL, and this year I want to talk about my experience on the XL and how GrapheneOS might work for you. My name is Matt from Real World Review, and remember, leaving negative comments may result in negative responses. Let's get started. Well, what is it? GrapheneOS is a privacy and security-focused skin of Android that comes from a non-profit company and is open-sourced. It has been around for a while, since at least 2015 as Copperhead OS, but the goal has been the same. Make an operating system that does its best to harden the security and privacy of the user, whether we talk about software or hardware attacks. I will let you go to GrapheneOS.org and check out what they're all about, the history, some FAQ, their forum, and so on. Now, if you want to do this, obviously you have to have a Pixel device, and you also have to enable OEM unlocking in the developer settings to unlock your bootloader. Regardless of the OS, once it's unlocked, you will always see this message that says that your bootloader is unlocked and the system integrity is compromised. That's fine. People think that their locked bootloader phones can get hacked all the time, so sure, this may be a concern, but there is an option to disable OEM unlocking and remove this message, but I believe that that's not really the best idea, as a locked bootloader is the reason why I have a Pixel 4 XL that's a brick. Regardless, the web-based installer is very simple to do with basic instructions to follow, and will bring you to this very stock-looking setup. Let's go over some of the notable settings and then decide what type of person you want to be. One thing to note is that a PIN can be set as well as the fingerprint scanner, but not face unlock. The Pixel 4 gave me face unlock, but not on the Pixel 9 Pro XL for some reason. Yes, like the 8 series, this does have the higher security that even banking apps trust, but I guess it's not enough for GrapheneOS, or maybe it's just too proprietary to put on this OS. I know others struggle with the Pixel 4's face unlock on other operating systems. Either way, we jump into the settings, and remember that this is Android 15. Starting with the top, we have the network and internet, and these bottom 3 options stand out to me, as well as that eSIM toggle. Now, these checks and provisions are normally controlled by Google, but here you get the option of Graphene or Google, with the internet connectivity check being able to be turned off altogether. We can skip over connected devices, which has standard options, but apps is where you get most of your control. Going into the app, we can see what's allowed and what's not, with network and sensors being one of the added options. Don't want the app to have internet or know if you're walking around? Turn it off. As usual, we can see all the permissions, but at least you now have the ability to disable at least some of them that normal Android won't allow you to do. Then there's exploit protection, and a lot of it. Now, this is stuff I truly don't know, but some of these settings can be used to allow for better compatibility to GrapheneOS, to prevent exploits that will end up making your phone less likely for someone to steal the information through said exploits that might not be protecting you in normal Android OS. There are some extra options in special app access, which is funny because normally these don't really allow for much to be changed, even though there is a decent amount of options here, but with Graphene, you actually can. The rest of the settings are pretty standard, while the location setting has some different options, like network location can use GrapheneOS proxy, Apple server, or just be off. Not really sure what the Apple server is, if it's like actual Apple, I don't know, it's kind of a weird one. But these are location toggles people really want, and it's so annoying that you have to modify your phone to get these options. Lastly, I want to talk about security and privacy, which has definitely gotten better with Android over the years, but this is obviously better. Like I said, we have the normal screen lock options, but only fingerprint, not face unlock. There is an option for a second PIN, so when you do the fingerprint, you have to put in another PIN, and yes, it can be different from the normal lock. Then you have duress password, which is essentially a self-destruct for your information. While I've obviously not tested it, it doesn't seem to wipe the phone, but it does sound like it just encrypts your information and throws away the key so no one can really get into it. Then the last thing I want to bring up is exploit protection, which goes from good to crazy. Auto reboot is pretty self-explanatory and great for full encryption and bug squishing, honestly, but for those that set it to 10 minutes, that's a little excessive. Then we have the USB-C port options. Pause now to read them all, but it can go from normal to no data when locked, to no data ever, or even disabling the USB-C port. Like, no reaction at all. Seems like a little much. Then turning off Bluetooth and Wi-Fi after being disconnected for a certain amount of time is kind of cool, but can be a little much. The rest of this is more than what I'm interested in, but most of them have explanations so you can decide if it's worth changing for you or not. And that's most of the control that you get, which is quite a lot, day and night compared to stock Android. But how will you use this phone? I've broken it down to 3 types of people. Now, if you're a person that doesn't want anything to track them at all, then you're done. Once you install GrapheneOS, you can decide if you want to disable some of the apps that are on here, but this type of person will install Graphene for a reason. I need a phone to make calls and texts. By the way, you can record calls and there is no RCS support for messaging. This phone is just a vessel to make calls and text and maybe use a weird camera app. No AI, no nothing. Just ultimately 3 things. This is probably the most secure and privacy-oriented way that you can make this. It is funny though because the phone is crazy fast like this, but for what reason? The next person is someone that wants the basics, but also wants some open source apps, as well as some Pixel exclusives, like the thermometer and markup to edit your images. Well, you can get a Maps app that never tracks you, even though it has access to your location, for some reason. Or you can use Molly, which is a fork of the Signal app, so you can send some encrypted messages. You'll be able to get these from Crescent, which is an app store with these open source apps that you can download straight from your phone. There are other versions of apps like this out there, but if you want to minimize your privacy footprint and still be able to do more than just talk and text, there are some awkward ways to do that. This is kind of where I would want to be placed normally, but the basics is kind of where I've wanted to go for the last year. There's something great about using your phone as literally a phone, a camera as literally a camera, and a computer as, well, a computer. But then we have the last person that can't fully jump into the privacy-focused ecosystem, and hey, I don't blame you. My work phone is literally an iPhone with 229 apps, maybe 30 of them that I actually use. There are app stores out there like Aurora which help prevent some tracking and profile creating that's sold to data collectors, but still allow you to download apps. But at the end of the day, if you install Instagram, TikTok, Amazon, or Spotify, sure, Google is either unable to get your information or it's more secure, but these companies that run the apps will still get your sweet analytics. That said, you still get the security and privacy aspect of preventing or mitigating cyber attacks, ADB commands, or just general hacking into your phone. Now look, I have so much information on the internet that with AI you can probably make me say anything you want to if you took the time. I mean, we see that on here with all these scam ads that pop up randomly, but I still want to have some privacy. I run ad blockers and pay for things like YouTube Premium or music streaming services, so sure, running ads with me is pointless. I mean, one of the reasons I refuse to go on TikTok is because it's essentially just an advertising service for pointless products. Instagram isn't the best either, but this is why companies want your data. Sure, they can use them for nefarious reasons, but Amazon, Google, Facebook, TikTok, and so on, they just want your data so they can sell you more products. Or possibly use that information to let other companies pay for that data so then you can be forced products down your throat from them. But with GrapheneOS, this can at least help prevent, mitigate, or just scramble your precious ad recommendation profile that companies build on you. Do I recommend GrapheneOS for someone who's worried about privacy? Absolutely. I don't know enough to recommend anyone else, unfortunately, but also it doesn't really matter to me. Do I want the average person knowing where I live and where I go? Absolutely not. Do I care if Apple or Google knows about that information? Well, they already do. And that's my follow-up video on GrapheneOS and my usage, as well as if it fits for you. But what do you think? Still hate me for a video that I made and you don't want to make a video voicing your opinion? Then open up a VPN of your choice, create a new email account, register it with YouTube, post some comments on other videos, wait a couple days, come back to this video, post a comment as well as hitting the like or dislike button. That way the comment will actually stick and not get automatically removed by spam blockers, and the like and dislike will actually mean something. But if you're a normal person, I hope you enjoyed this video, join the 1%, literally, and as always, thanks for watching.